Putting my infrared light on. Bringing me into the cozy relaxingness. I wanna draw a card. I wanna draw a card. It's the Divine Masters by Carl Gray Oracle deck. Ishtar, inner learnings. Follow your heart. Truth prevails. Powerful but mysterious. Follow your heart. Truth prevails. Ishtar, whose name means the precious, is the East Semitic, Akkadian, Assyrian, and Babylonian goddess of love and war. She was known as Inanna by the Sumerians and Astarte by the North Semitic peoples. She has many names and many faces. As long as 4000 before Christ, she was acknowledged as the Queen of Heaven, protector of the cosmos, and instigator of truth. She was often depicted with 6 and 8-pointed stars, which were originally general symbols of the heavens, but in the Old Babylonian period she became associated with the Venus, the planet of love and desire. Many people have been challenged by the fact that Ishtar is linked to both love and war. From my own impression of the energy she represents, I believe she helps us connect with the root energy of desire, including a desire to fight for what we believe in. When she appears, only the truth can prevail. Information is being revealed to you, and it's important to listen, especially as there's a good chance it will bring a war between your head and heart. You're being guided to listen to your heart, the part of you that makes decisions based on what feels best rather than what makes sense. You may have to take a decision that makes you feel you're losing out, but in fact will lead you to a feeling of finding treasure or even feeling treasured. You are being encouraged to seek the truth now. Even if it is challenging or difficult, it's important to honor it. The truth will always prevail, whether it be now or in the future. You're being guided to save yourself emotional strain and also time by allowing what needs to be shared, said, felt, and communicated in order to be more connected to your heart and ultimately for the highest good of all. Interesting. I need to look at her again. Ishtar. Wow. Yeah, I think this card has a specific depth with her. Like it's in her eyes. I see that. Like deep in the earthiness. Sumerian gods, you know, they are ancient for us. This 6,000 plus years, maybe 4,000, 5,000, just so many, 6,000 years, longer. And they've been said to be miraculous healers and good examples of perseverance as well as healing. Isn't it so miraculous to think about what they might have looked like? Because we obviously don't find proper pictures, like sadly so. But like Egyptians, we have lots of pictures from them, like original, like how they wanted to be seen. And with those, it's just a make-believe. But this is so pretty. And like it's so cool that some of their old symbols, they persevered time. Like the star symbol, 6 and 8-pointed stars, general symbols of the heavens. Isn't it so pretty? And then that also describes how she evolved in the story of humankind, how she later became associated with love too. She is powerful. There are many books about her. I know her. No, I don't know Ishtar, the name that I know her from. It's the same. It's the same. Probably the same. I know her as Inanna. I really feel very inspired by the stories because I'm seeing like very simple people rising with the power of strength of the leaders, and I think that this is what she might have been in Anna, a powerful leader. And then maybe there was no one after her, so she became the myth, the legend, the god Inanna, which is so beautiful. The next is Isis, and I just want to read it, and I'm going to read it a lot so you can also listen. And this is the picture that is on here. That would be Isis. That's Egyptian, obviously. Reclaiming magic, call back your power and what is rightfully yours. Isis is one of the foremost goddesses of ancient Egypt. She is the high priestess, goddess, and mother figure all in one, and is associated with the energies of the moon, magic, love, and conquering the underworld. Through her life experiences, connections, and understanding of magical forces, she has wisdom to offer us. Isis is a keeper of magical energy. She is dedicated to helping those who feel called to connect with the magic within. She helps us see that magic isn't something that comes to us, but an energy we awaken within. She is particularly drawn to those stepping into and honoring the divine feminine, and those who are reclaiming aspects of themselves or the power have had to be left behind. And it's time to be your whole self. The parts of yourself that have had to be left behind are now ready to return. This is a time to stop playing small and step back into your greatness. If you feel something or someone has pushed you away from your most authentic self, the power of magic is guiding you to take the reins back into your own hands. Don't let anyone or anything stop you from being who you were born to be. Let your voice be heard. Let your gifts be seen. Let your power be revealed. If you feel that you have lost or forgotten parts of yourself due to situations beyond your control, know that these fragments are not lost, but waiting to be reclaimed. Call back all fragments of your innocence, gifts, talents, vulnerability, heart, and anything else that might be out there in the universe. This is a powerful moment of spiritual awakening, and the world is here to be your witness. Or come home to yourself. Wow, that's powerful. Wow. That's a very beautiful description of Isis, I think. I'm a fan of this deck. It brings me real joy, honestly. I also want to get a Lemurian deck, but a Lemur and an Atlantean deck. I know it's made-believe, but these are actual divine masters that are known, and it's not the religious information. Obviously, that's what the deck wants to spark in me. It's a little guidebook for me too, for reflection and learning and mantra, you know. But this is a very beautiful description of Isis too. I actually read first about Inanna, I think in this book by Saren and Asra Bertrand, but I probably will not find it. I'm gonna see if I can find it somewhere. Isis. Ah, no, Inanna. Ma'at. I like Ma'at. She is the Egyptian goddess of the sky. I could make a whole hour length just like explaining my favorite goddesses, and then one of my favorite gods too, because there are many inspirational. Like Buddha is one of the most helpful figures I find in all this mythology and all this legend and all this ancient history, because he truly gets to know the quality and the depth of his life in his lifetime. And from the prince who kind of gets lost in the hurt of the lack of connection to the world and to the nature and to the people, he slowly finds back to himself. But it takes him a whole long way. And like Jesus, he is the best role model for standing strong in love for people. But this is not a time where you need to fight a lot for love. It is a time where you persevere in your own humankind. You don't get distracted and you don't get eaten by the money devil, basically. Obviously, money is not the enemy. It's just the bad business and all of that. Like, don't get lost. It's still is not money that rules happiness. Even though it can help you get what makes you more happy. But it's a good practice every day writing your gratitude list. Just this is a mindset shift that is so helpful. So I don't know. I don't find Inanna now, but I did find Isis. But she should be in there, but if it just shortly names her, it will be Nigeria, Sumeria. Inanna. In ancient Sumerian text, the goddess Inanna's boat of heaven is compared to her wondrous vulva, meaning that the title of the Queen of Heaven, attributed to Inanna, Isis, and the Virgin Mary, could also be interpreted as the Queen of the Vulva or the Queen of the Womb. Like, you really see that birth was so important at those times. It was called magic. It was probably also often that you would lose babies in the womb and out of the womb. So they had lots of prayer going for birth and fertility, obviously also probably for harvest. So this is so understandable and relatable. But I like Inanna. She is interwoven in all of the femininity of those ancient tribes. And like, I'm not studying them. Like, I'm not historian. I'm not bulletproof. But I think she's so inspiring. And it does feel a little bit weird, honestly, that she would sit in the boat that is his vulva. But I think we need to understand this just in the honoring the sacredness, the sexuality, the birth bringing life in her. That's what I think is about. It's not pornographic, but even it could be. Because it's long ago, guys. They did not probably, judge. But I think it is just honoring. Like, I personally, I don't have vulva art in my home, except for one really funny quote that says the uterus is the actual 3D printer, which I thought was so funny. Like, I personally, I don't like to decorate with organs, but if I would do a workshop, I would also try to get it, or I would make maybe clay art, because people like to use it as if with quotes and all, and like bring in the sacred back. If I would make a personal art, I would put flowers on it, so that's how I like it. And it is actually quite typical that if tantric arts and all of those, they really use the organs for the art. So it's kind of meant to be freeing, because they don't want to be hiding around their sexuality. It's important to those kind of people. And I think it must have been quite similar in old times, because people change, but still in the old stories you kind of see them. If you ever read a Greek mythology book, it is it's still so relatable how those people were described, and like, or even in the Bible. Sometimes I'm just always so happy that the crime rates are lower. um Overall, still worldwide, but it's still not awesome, but it's not Sumerian times. Or like Greek, also Greek, old Greek. um yeah, I like it. I'm gonna see if I find a picture or somewhere. Like, people are so creative with their art, and that's what it should be. Like, you can reclaim your stories and make them your own. I even have sometimes ideas for children's books, how, like, maybe not like Nana, but with the Egyptian gods and goddesses. I feel like this would be also fun for homeschooling, like just making a story about my art, and like a little original, but make it your own. Like, just like a lot of the kids series, they always do. They make the stories their own, but they still tell a story. So it's just not 100% what you can tell the story your own way. I think it is so inspiring, and it is a strong role model. Like my aunt, that she is a big role model. She kinda is presented like she do you know this bridge that the yoga people make? So on the floor, and then this is called the bridge, one of the bridges that you can make, and she is representing, like, standing this over her people. She is literally protecting them from everything coming from the sky or anywhere else. And she's connected to the sky. She's the sky goddess. And like, isn't it such a beautiful, strong story to tell? And I feel very inspired. But like, actually, I don't like the original legends. Mostly they are very bloody and sweaty. I'm happy that we are don't live over there. Like right now would be obviously fine, but not in 4000 before Christ. And then there are like pharaohs and all of those, like that we know lots about. They left us pyramids to find, and whole scriptures are written about them. Tutankhamun, he was found like sometime in the 90s, I think. He's so well known in Austria because we had this historian Ishmael historian like in a museum. We had all of his little things, and I think I did not go because it's that information for me. I rather love the legend and the myth and the, but I would read a book rather than like see the old things. It's a little bit different with like different statues, and when it's like more artful, I feel more called to go. We have that actually everywhere, and that's why I think I feel more at home in Egypt than I would ever feel with Sumerians, because you don't really find lots about Sumerian cultures. I think they must have been properly smashed, you know. And Egypt was continued to rise, and they did build pyramids out of sand and stone in the middle of a fucking desert. That's brutal, but also powerful. So yeah, and then Cleopatra, she was an actual pharaoh. We know that. There are a few other ones, and they are proven, and they are also written about, and also the Romans. They have notes and scriptures from it. So we have very accurate knowledge about the Greek, the Egyptian, and the Roman culture, for example. And with Sumerians, it's kind of a little bit hearsay, but Inanna, she was so widespread, she is to this day. I think you can find somewhere Inanna temples in, in the Eastern world. Because it's just like that. It's just like, yeah, somebody will remember them. Like, for example, you will, if now Catholicism goes extinct, you will find a Mother Mary figure in people's houses, because they will not forget about the legend. They have books and they will remember, and it just stays. If this has, if some of those stories, these legends, these myths have lived with people for a long time, it really perseveres through history. Just like you with the yoga people, yoga is many thousand years old. People still do it. We have a big health and fitness scene that just gets really a beautiful, healthy, not very pushy input because of the yoga. And it is, I don't think that a guru, an Indian guru, would like criticize that people do the asana to balance in their life, because I think it's very normal that people don't fully commit on any path. And I personally also love the yoga, but yoga also has ancient gods and goddesses that I don't resonate with, because it is for me, their stories, like I love Kuan Yin. I think she is more Chinese than Indian, but it's like a little bit hard to say that over there. But it's like Sumeria and like India and then China, they are not so far from each other. To this day, the Indian culture, for example, they have the tantra, for example. They do honor the yoni and the vulva. They honor the penis too, and like they talk about the energy exchange. They are really quite they are really understand life itself very much. And so I don't really need the myths, because obviously I feel a little bit more from the weather and the overall, like, and Egypt. Yeah, Egypt is from in the 80s. There were so many movies made, and I just watched them on television as a kid, like Cleopatra and like all of those Caesar. Like he was so favorite at that time. Like they're so relatable, and there are not really many. Like Bollywood also makes so heartfelt, touching movies. They describe true love for me, and they need to overcome lots, and they always find back to love, which is so inspirational and strong. Like, yeah, and they do sometimes. I think they do bring myths on the television. I've not watched a Bollywood film for long, because I can just watch two or three and then I'm a little bit getting bored from the dancing, because I don't want, I really don't need it. I'm also more someone who likes to go to musical rather than see musical movies, but sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's funny. So it's a little bit, for me, harder to understand. It's so very old. But I love Kalima for her destructiveness, and there is also lots to get to know. Like just in my little oracle deck, there are so many masters that I've never heard about. So it's super inspiring, super fun. Also with the other one that I have, it is meant for me actually for inspiration because it is inspiring. They bring stories of perseverance that I don't know, like in my everyday life, and we don't have those hard times, and also not on in the movies. It's always a little bit different, but it does spark joy in me, and also I think the actual stories are ancient, and with European folk stories and folk myths and legends, it is often the case that they have different names, but it's mostly the same stories. Like for example, Cinderella, you know, she has always kind of the same story, but it is a little bit different from country to country. And we also have folk, we have Riesen, like giants in the Alps and in the sky up there, you know. They also goes for the whole continent. So we also have this mythology, this it does not really work with gods, but with figures. Like it is not God, and you don't honor. Like you don't need to bring to the giants something for gratitude. It's just a little bit description of the fears of the old times, I guess. And the stories that prevailed, you know, there are sometimes giants birth, and then they might spark not only fantasy but also problems sometimes. So it's a mixture of all of this. I think it's not with those kind of stories, it's not make believe. Also with the yoga mythology, like Egypt, Sumerian, or Greek, it is not. It's not just make believe. It's not just you if you go to a Hollywood movie and you watch something new. This is myth and legend that was told by the people itself. I didn't want to draw a card. I wanted to check the gods and goddesses actually. Super interesting. And it's so nice to have guidance from somebody with and this sacred myths connected with those myths, and not only just a beautiful card, but also learn a bit about history too. So I have like three mostly, and I have this both of them, and then I have one deck more that is just with Celtic goddesses from all of Europe. It's so interesting because I don't know them. Sometimes I don't even find them on Google. That's how expert knowledge that is. Like there's a Greek. This is a high priest of Atlantis. That's make believe. Atlantis is make believe. Neptune, he was alive. Obviously, cards are not 100% accurate, but if they name region or what they stand for a little bit, is mostly accurate. Like, but obviously, it's their own interpretation that they use this figure for my channeling, for example. This is all from my inner reflection process that I can be channeling about. This is Inanna. See, I knew I have it somewhere. Persephone, Quadesh, Ra, Rhiannon is Celtic, Star Maiden, Thoth, Mary Magdalene too, Merlin, Baba Yaga. I like Baba Yaga so much. She was a crazy witch. I like her. So I always like to check their history. Like, I've not known the story of Lilith though. She is not so popular because she does not bring perseverance, but she is fighting for her darkness too, which is sometimes necessary in life. You need to be allowed to work with your shadow. Sorry, there is no picture in there. I want to find her now. These are so alive, beautiful cards. Like, look at this. It's so pretty. This one has Lilith. Face your shadow, actually. I see her a little bit more in the Maiden. That's in Hannah. That's also how I see her a lot. Like, dark, depth, embodied, spiritually so evolved for those times. The six-pointed star is so pretty, so pretty. No, we're sexy too. That's allowed. That's why I can just point to the yoga, because it's easy understandable and it's obviously not pornographic, but people can make it out. Like yeah. It might have to do with the fact that they don't feel the best around their own sexuality. Okay, just saying. So yeah, this was so fun checking with you my cards, talking a little bit about the masters, and like I've already explained how to work with them with the archetypal form, but this is also a little bit just thoughtfulness around different cultures, and also obviously inspiration. Like I would probably not write a book about Inanna, because with Inanna I feel like she's so deep for me, into the shadows, into the depth and the underworld, in the so far away from my time. I cannot fully imagine her, but I feel lots of perseverance, warmth, and feminine empowerment, and also lots of healthy sexual traits. Yes, I like that woman. And whenever she comes up in a workshop, I'm starting to listen. I like her better than, for example, Isis, Sekhmet, because they were all spoiled. And with Inanna, I don't feel like true richness, or like she did not have a pyramid dress. So I kind of, my heart resonates with her, because that's also my life. Like I am also not living in a castle. I live and walk just normal bloody life, and that's what I feel with Inanna, how truthful and real her stories are. Just like people, she's like, I like sometimes how people talk to a good uh, gynecologist, like a doctor for the women. That's how I see her for the ancient times. Like I see her with advice, I see her with actual healing, I see her with responsibility and authority, and that's what I am always inspired to hear a little bit more. But people actually don't know lots new. It's just always this description and little overview, and then there are the other gods that I also like, but I know you can find so much about Egyptian god, like Isis. There are so many still very truthful legends about her. Like I just see them as true, because they, if wherever I look at for countries or whatever, or just in my life, it's always continuously the same story. So this is the actual story about her. Obviously does change over time. That's so true. But yeah, with Inanna, she's like in somewhere in the midst, somewhere unspoken, and there were no pyramids for her story. So I'm a little bit interested to keep her alive and listen and find more about her. My heart longs for those stories a little bit, because I believe she must have been alive. For me, the story is so relatable. How she would have just understood the sacredness of life, and then from this point stood strong for many people in her life, and even after, with the stories, like she holds people together, and that's so deeply, 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 mysteriously, beautifully, mystically beautiful. I say this because I believe women have lived much closer to their bodiness, to their earth, than in those times. And a little bit as somebody who lived so much in my head, I long for more embodiedness. And I personally am so happy that in my country the temperatures are rising, because I'm so drained from all of the cold winters in my childhood with minus 20 degrees to the bus and back, and always dark. And also I kind of also love this climate that I connect to. I feel super inspired. I feel a little bit more of myself getting awake with her story. That's how relatable I feel she is. And there are other stories which I don't always like. This is this story of, for example, how well keepers or priestesses were like so potent and honored. But I think it is the gods and the goddesses should be honored, because the human flesh for me is not the most sacred. But it's the act of service that I honor deeply, and that will bring those myths and legends. And like I don't see that with priestesses who have been honored and fed. Like I have the same, like it is to this day I think that about lots of um spirituality. If they don't stay in service, somebody who lives a very yoga inspired path, that it is indeed you stand in service to each other. You don't preach, but you see, you witness, and you guide, and you offer free, like for me it's free food mostly. I just would bring free lessons of free upliftment, but that is indeed also a yogic path to stay true to wisdom in your life. And I don't feel that with many of the old, especially with the old. Um, and like I do not criticize um, spiritual temples in Asia, for example, because they have priests and they are present and people go there for prayer. But it's beautiful that they're still held, and they can find refuge, and they bring flowers, fruits, whatever, to honor the spirituality and the priest too. But so if they stay in service to their people, I think it's beautiful. But if they get lost in them being so sacred and honorable for just praying, I'm like, what does shift in life? Like, I'm so proactive. I'm like, no, no. And then I also come from Catholic country. I'm like, no, no, that's not sacred. That's not holy. Like Jesus would not ever live like that. Like he's the most honorable. Like no way. This is like weird. Like no. And women are a little bit like that. They can get lost in their body image. They think they're so empowering because a man like them, or because they gave life to the baby, and then they cling on to that, and they wanna call this all their own and claim it as their work. Well, it's actual Mother Nature who is responsible for all of that, for birth as well as chemical reaction from man to when it's love is a little bit different. And then yeah, probably she would also feel not so powerful. It would also bring out more vulnerability, because what you love you can also lose. So that's what I always feel with these old stories. But I really like Inanna. I admire Isis for her embodied partnership. I love Aphrodite for her brave heart. I like Lilith because she frees me from guilt. And I love the tantric path that don't push me, because they help me find back into the embodiment that I love and seek so much. And that's why it is so, my body really longs for my practices and for more and more landing in the body and on the earth, having lived a life so not so embodied and so much in the head, and then with the trauma and all, and then also in the last year from the surgery, it was really so it was I held myself together as good as I could. It was very overwhelming, and my overall health did already suffer a little bit, but I feel with the warmth again. That's why I remembered Inanna today, because and I don't want to work with her deeper, but I probably will get a book now, because I think there's something in her story that I understand about my own womanhood, and it is indeed a very old and pure, like it's not so much nobody dictated them how to live their life. That's why I think I like Inanna so much, because she brings me more back to this deeply rooted, roomy, shadowy coziness of being a woman, not only being perfect, because I'm so sick of it. I'm very sick of it. I'm tired of always, but I don't wanna give up on goodness at the same time. That's why I think she's inspirational, because she seems to me like a quite fair goddess. I think that's why people liked her, and I think that's an attribute that I also want to hear about, because people are not always very fair. Yeah, so I will look up the book later now. And I do like history. I do like history. I actually also have a little book that is from the church, the Austrian church. This is about a saint. That is the patron saint of Carinthia, like one female patron. She's called Hemma in German, but Emma in English, von Gurk. And I've not fully read it because it was very brutal times, and I feel very triggered because it's very true and authentic. My heart a little bit stings for her, because it was not easy living her life. Like she lost children and husband to crown wars, probably. That's what is assumed. And then she funded monasteries, and then in the end she lived there for the last days of her life. But she created the lots of strength and goodness for Corinthia forever. Like to this day, Hemma is so liked, because it is also a legend to persevere time. It's a saint that is like nobody's fight, like the church never fights about her. There are sometimes saints that the church is not really liking so much, but people like them, and there were priests who like them. So, but like she is very strong, but she comes with fully different attributes. Like she would never be a goddess Emiria. Like Hannah would probably flee that culture. It was a little bit more calm in Corinthians. Still, like she lost lots to that extra time she lived in, which makes me sad, because she was such a good, strong-hearted person, and then she lost because people were more unsafe than they should be. And I like to read sometimes a little bit, so I hope there will be something similar with the Inanna. There is lots of very old Christian goodness in her that I feel is so strengthening my heart, because I do also live with Christian principles a lot. I've been raised with them. Like my family, my parents, they are not very religious, hippies they are, but my grandparents were. So and we walked to church for Easter and all. So I heard all the speeches a few times a year, and then we had the priest weekly in the classroom. And then there was one day in a year where they forgave us our sins, and I did not even know what to tell them. Because I was a kid, like, what are they wanting? Like, I did not even steal money at the time. That came when I needed alcohol. Yeah, so that's me. I feel I feel like I feel like in my Reiki bubble because I am still in my little celebratory weekend from 5 year Reiki attunement, and then I feel like I crave a little bit more landing and little deeper understanding of this womb lore, because it does tell me the strength that women can hold. And I don't feel that strong, but I really want more perseverance, strength, and femininity. And I'm also sometimes feeling guilty for pleasures because that's a little bit part of my religion that I've been growing up with. It's not so much my mindset. I really been like those stories help me to let them go. And I actually have a full Kindle Unlimited um list, like 10, 12 books waiting to be read, all about more encouraging self-care. And like I created this page on Instagram, like the self-love Reiki club, and then I ended finding out that I too could like I'm always putting nice messages in a little upliftment and so I too need to hear that exactly. And then I probably should get more books because I learned, I have very good understanding and good learning effects just from the books. Just they tell me the story, I a little bit think about them, and then I see my mindset does shift. And if I want to keep a mindset deeper, I can always also record a few little mantras, affirmations, or like I love to put stickers on the walls to uplift my spirits after a life with my mother. Yeah, that's me. If I get rest, I crave more knowledge because I don't know what else to do. But I can rest and all, but I cannot just lie around for a full weekend. When I feel very rested, I don't even need to be creating or anything. So I don't. I will be looking into books, and I've already made a little bit of AI art for later, and I like putting the AI things onto my page because they do exactly show how I see those stars. They a little bit give my version of my inspiration. The Reiki art, and yesterday I made a little video for Lamas, which is the Celtic Wheel of the Year festival. It's the first harvest festival. Or Lugnaside, you can also call it, but it is named after a god that I don't like. I don't like him. I call it Lamas. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm gonna bake my cake now, finally, today, I hope so. And my hazelnut is a butter layer and a caramel layer, and I'm so excited to indulge. I should probably make a smaller version though. I'm probably gonna do only half the recipe. It is enough. In summer, I don't feel like constantly eating the sugar. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. It was very interesting. I also did not see us talking about the old spirituality and myths. So, see you again. Have a good afternoon. Bye bye.